How do you like SelectUSA? Oh, look, in Mississippi, we call this hunting over a baited field. I know, ask somebody from the South about that. It is so exciting to be able to see everyone. I usually have to travel around the world to get the meetings that we've been able to achieve here in just a day and a half. So consider yourself lucky. I do. I feel very fortunate that I'm here with the governor of the great state of Mississippi. I hope you enjoyed the video. That's an example of workforce development in the state of Mississippi. We love workforce development. You see, what we have now in the United States and a lot of developing nations, we have jobs that are looking for people. We used to have people looking for jobs. Now in Mississippi Works program, I've got 40,000 job openings just now, and I'm beginning to fill them as quickly as I can. But you have to be unconventional about it. So where do we start with workforce development? We start it in daycare. See, a couple of years ago, we decided that our ladies were going to go to work. Thank goodness they joined the workforce and they changed America. My wife's been a working mom. My daughter's a working mom. So we've got to look to those communities where child care is not prepared for a learning environment. See, as all our children went into those child care facilities, you did pretty good if you were upper middle class. My children went to a Catholic daycare, Dominicare. They came out learning their alphabets, their colors, their numbers, and the Lord's Prayer. But if you live in the Mississippi Delta where I was born, you may not have that opportunity. We put $98 million a year into federally funded daycare. Now we're putting in a learning component. So we use our community colleges, and we tell all of the daycares, if you will bring your workers to the closest community college, let them go to that. We will teach them, align them with a pre-K program so they can begin to teach a one-year-old. Think about this. Our children are there in those child care programs, about 95% of the children in the state of Mississippi, from the time they're 8 weeks old until about 3. Their minds growing and developing faster than it will in any time the rest of their entire lives. And sometimes we waste it. We can't just house those children. So now we began this great new program, and it's supported by a great study. If you haven't seen this, if you haven't read it, go online and find it with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. It was written by a brilliant young lady named Catherine Stevens. It's the workforce of today, workforce of tomorrow. This is my copy. You can see I've been working on it. I carry this with me in my briefcase everywhere I go to remind me that those millions and millions of children that are in those child care centers need to be learning today. It's remarkable what they can do. I've got one grandchild that's 2 and one that's 4. And you just watch their minds absorbing, and sometimes they learn things we don't want them to. So Papa's got to be careful what he says. Because what does it do? It comes right back to him, doesn't it? Right back. But Eliza's there with her blocks, and she's saying orange and blue and red, and she can spell her name, and she can spell her brother's Henry's name. Yeah, because she's in a great child care facility. So we're working hard. We spend $200 million a year, $198 million a year on a program called Head Start. It started in Mississippi in 1962 to those low-income, poor children in the Delta and around the state of Mississippi have an opportunity to get into an early childhood learning program. And then we decided that we had to build a robust early learning childhood program, and we did that with a collaborative. So now we're getting thousands and thousands of our children. They're in 3rd and 4th grade. And when they get ready to go to the 1st grade, they can actually read. It's important because we put something in called the literacy program. It's a 3rd grade gate. We simply said you can't be socially promoted to the 4th grade if you can't read on a 3rd grade level. Oh my goodness, the media went crazy. Everyone said he hates children. He's going to hold these poor children back. It's going to destroy their self-esteem. We went from 48% reading proficiency in the 3rd grade to last April when they took the test, 92% of the 3rd graders passed their reading test. Because the past 7 years we put thank you. We put reading coaches. We spent $15 million a year in reading coaches. So they go into the schools and they teach the teachers to make sure that the children can read. First Lady and I were just day before yesterday with a group at our Children's Museum. They didn't quite make it, so we're going to send them to a little summer school camp. It's fun because they get to go to the Children's Museum and they get to learn to read, and then they get to take the test, and then go on to the 4th grade. Some of them won't make it. Some of them may have to repeat the 3rd grade. That's okay. I'm a dyslexic child that repeated the 3rd grade. I've had some moderate level of success. But they have to read. Then we've got to put more STEM. So when they get in the 5th and 6th and 7th grade, they're dealing with math and algebra and science. So we're developing that STEM program robustly. If they start to fail, we put jobs for American graduates. If you hadn't heard about JAG, you need to. If you're having some problems in your school, get a job for American graduate counselor into that program. 96% of the time, that at-risk child will graduate from high school. This goes from one problem to the other, solving those problems. That's what we do. And I like to tell people also, I'm a salesman, this governor of Mississippi, and I work on commission. So if I can go and convince you to come to the state of Mississippi, we grow. We have profit. We have more jobs. We got the lowest unemployment just now in Mississippi's history and the highest graduation rate. Wonderful things are occurring. The economy's on fire. Low tax structure. We get you up and running. We permit you quicker than almost any state in America, but we've still got to get that qualified workforce. So then comes the community colleges. Maybe they can go into a coding academy. In fact, they can start that in high school. They start working with a 3D printer in high school. For the coding academies. We have furniture academies. We have a huge furniture industry in Northeast Mississippi. All of it didn't go overseas. The largest upholstery furniture plant in the world is located at Ecru, Mississippi. Ecru, look that up. So we get you into one of the academies. Then you become an apprentice. We love it. We have a fund that we support that with. It's called the Mississippi Works Fund, $50 million. It took me 2 years to talk to the legislature into putting $50 million into a workforce program, but I found the money for them. See, when I came into office, unemployment was 9.4%. Today it's around 4.5. We cut it in half. So what happens there? The unemployment premiums that our companies are paying went down. So your unemployment premiums as a company it was cut in half. And even after that, I had $50 million left in reserve. I don't have that many unemployed people in Mississippi anymore. I said, I don't have that many unemployed people in Mississippi anymore. So I took that $50 million and we put it into workforce training programs in our community college so that you can get to be an apprentice at Ingalls Shipbuilding. You can make warships. Now we got to sell these young students and realizing that not everybody has to go to a university. I've got 3 college degrees. I'm more educated than I need to be. That's okay. It's good if you've got a degree in something that'll find you a job. If I send you to college for 4 years, you borrow $40,000, you come out with a bachelor's degree in interpretive dancing, you're going to have a little trouble finding a job in Mississippi. Oh, don't get me wrong, I love interpretive dancing. We're hosting the International Ballet Competition just now in Jackson, Mississippi, but we're doing these children a disservice. They want to get a really good job, and they come out with early Greek literature, bachelor's degree, early Greek literature. If they've got aerospace technology, we can put it at our NASA Space Center. You see, we're looking for those new engineers. I talked to a company yesterday, one of our 100 aerospace industries in the state of Mississippi. They're going to expand by 50. They need 50 more engineers, and I'm going to go find them. The other thing you've got to do is incentivize people to work. You've got to raise the salary. You've got to get a working wage, hopefully some health care, retirement benefit in there so they want to go to work. The whole idea of going into the factory, if I go in a classroom today and they're a junior in high school, and I go, how many of you want to go into the factory and go to work? Not a lot. They still have that old idea of the 1960s and 70s of a dark, hard place in a factory. No, we make Nissans, Toyotas, over 500,000 automobiles a year. Those are the cleanest facilities you'll ever see. You just got to have white gloves to make a Nissan or Toyota. And we make Airbus helicopters, Lakota helicopters in Columbus, Mississippi, the most advanced manufacturing. You saw just the testimonial earlier. We have companies from all over the world that are pouring into the state of Mississippi. We want to invite you to do so. You'll hear other governors up here today, and they're going to brag about their state. They better. We call that cooperation. Cooperation. I think I made that word up. If I didn't, I'm going to try to take credit for it. We cooperate with our other states, particularly in the southeastern automobile corridor. But we also compete. It gives you a good opportunity. Because if you're looking to come to the southeastern United States, of course you want to come to Mississippi. I get that. I'm modest about it, but we're the best. But if you want to talk to Kentucky, that's great. Matt Bevins is going to be here in just a little bit. Governor Ivey and over in Alabama, we worked together to make sure that she got the Toyota Mazda plant because my suppliers along that border are going to be able to take their products there. And they're going to be in an apprenticeship in our Toyota factory, our facility there in Blue Springs, Mississippi, that made 500,000 Corollas faster than any Toyota plant in Toyota history. I was with Dr. Toyota in Toyota City about 3 weeks ago, and I'm still bragging about that. 500,000 quicker than any other Toyota plant in Toyota history. So we're working on every day. We're now designing platforms and programs so that these children can go online, these students can go online in the 9th and 10th and 11th grade and begin to learn the basic ideas of how to manufacture an automobile. How do we put that Lakota helicopter together so that by the time they get to be an apprentice, they've learned most of the basics online. I want them to look at it on their iPhone. I want to put it out there so everybody can see it. Now companies get a little bit nervous, so we can't tell all the trade secrets, but making a Nissan or manufacturing a Toyota or a warship, there's a lot that we can show you. And so by the time that 9th grader, 10th grader gets into his apprenticeship program, he's so far ahead. Workforce training and development. I was with Switzerland just the other night. They've been doing it for generations now. And that's what we want, generational jobs, where a father says, I hope my son will come to work here at Nissan. I look forward to my son being at Ingalls and building the greatest warships. The 70% of the surface combat vessels the Navy's selling today was made in Pascagoula, Mississippi. Ladies and gentlemen, this gave us a great opportunity to come and visit with you, but we want to come visit with you. We're going to come to your country. We want you to come to Mississippi. We want you to continue to come to SelectUSA. I certainly think it's worth our time. Thank you for being here. Let me spend some moments with you.